So first off, comes in discrete cardboard boxes. We ship in about 2-3 days. We've got warehouses all over the US, so it can get to you almost as fast as Amazon is our goal. And that's shipped by us. So Vesta was created and invented here because of Texas in 2021. When that whole place froze in February, there were hundreds, if not thousands, of homes that went hungry. And it was cold, they were miserable, people passed away, and our hearts go out to them still. And so our inventing team came up with this and designed it in a rush, and it is beautiful. It is a remarkable object. And had they had it, it would have saved a lot of lives, fed a lot of hungry bellies. Well, let's unbox this and show you it. You can see it's going to have some thick styrofoam, so even when I turned it upside down to get it out, it's not moving at all. So it comes super, super secure. Then inside the foam, it comes inside some wrap. The directions are right on top, just taped right on top. This is how simple this is to set up and use. So no worries there in time of emergency. If you don't remember it or don't have the video, you will have the instructions right on top. It even walks you through with some pull-out tape, pull-out tray using snuffer, just to instruct you on how to use when hot. This does get really, really hot, and we're gonna demo that. We're even gonna boil some water, cook one of our Beyond outdoor meals, our Tuscan sausage. It's really, really good, one of my favorites. And we're gonna have some fun today, so welcome everybody. So first off, it collapses down. It fits underneath your armpit. Not quite as small as a jet boil, but it makes up for it in the cost and the usability. So you're able to take this and pull out the snuffer. Looks just like that. It's going to be able to snuff the canned heat, but on this end, it has the pull-out tray. So right now, while it's cold, you can easily pull it out. You're going to see trays 1, 2, and 3. This is where the canned heat goes. And then you're going to pull out the Vesta heater. So this portion is the heater itself. It is called a TEG, a thermal electric generator is how this works. In a nutshell, the bottom gets hot, the top's cold, it creates electricity and spins the fan. That's this right here. So very similar to your old-fashioned wood-burning stoves. You could actually set a TEG right on top and it would help, circulate the heat throughout your home. Very similar design. The only thing we added was this grate. And you can see it goes all the way down, and that will actually absorb a lot of that heat from the other canned heat from spots 2 and 3. And that way, as this heats up, it blows that heat. Whereas a lot of other tags just blow what's in the room. This is actually blowing additional heat from that. As far as expectations go, if you're freezing, so I've used this in 14-degree temperatures. It's brought it up to about 60. So it's still cold, but it's a lot more livable than 14 degrees, if you know what I mean. And that took about a square foot room, about 200 square foot room. Took about an hour to bring that up. Just keep in mind, these are canned heat. Other names you might hear is chafing fuel, similar to that. More detailed instructions, but again, those 3 steps, that's how simple this thing is. And I'll be walking you through that today. This whole unit is not dishwasher safe. The grate itself is the only part that is dishwasher safe. Keep that in mind in case you spill. So with everything unpacked, this is the Vesta in its entirety. You've got plenty of ventilation here, so you're not worried about suffocating your fire. And you've got the fan itself. So we'll put this over here. Let's start with our Vesta stove portion of the space heater and stove. So when it comes to canned heat, this was probably our number one question, is how long will this burn? And is it safe indoors? All of those types of questions. And the answer is 6 hours. We've even tested it where to get the maximum amount of heat, you can see these are about 3/4 of an inch. You're going to want to pull these out just to an inch. And it's really easy to pull. Pull that out to an inch and then fluff it. So you just grab either side and fluff it. And the cool thing about it is if this were to somehow spill or puncture, like you can see that dripping right there, I'll even try and light that. It won't light. You can only light the wick. So even if this does spill, you try and light it, it's not gonna light. It's just fine. So pull that out to 1 inch, fluff it. That's gonna get your flame nice and wide, as well as the right height to create, now I'm covered in oil. Let's see if I can't get that. There we go, got it. Again, I recommend unscrewing them all before you touch the wick. Otherwise your hands slip. There we go, got it. So pulling them out to about 1 inch, fluff the wick. Again, 1 inch, and fluff the wick. And the big difference between this and chafing fuel you'll find at Sam's Club and Costco is you'll see a steadier heat temperature. A lot of that chafing fuel, thank you. A lot of that chafing fuel you'll find peaks really fast and then goes down. Ours peaks and then stays steady and lasts for almost the whole 6 hours. If you go on our website, you can actually see that, and it's pretty simple. So this grate has a nice easy landing right here. It's got this lip. Keep in mind, this is the front, this is the back, okay? You're gonna set this down with the rising up, and it goes underneath this lip and then onto the others. When stored, it just sits down inside just like that, okay? So again, just slide that in the back. It falls right down in. There we go. And then let's light our canned heat. So this is our pocket plasma lighter. I love this version. It's our 2.0. It now has an extendable neck. And you just simply have to touch that. We're on fire. There you go. So again, this is the stove portion for those of y'all that are just jumping on. This is the stove portion that we're demoing right now. And it's not hot yet, so you can put this in with your hand. But again, keep in mind, in just a little bit, this is all gonna start to get really hot. You've got this, I can't remember what it's called. The snuffer, you got this snuffer, it's tucked under the back. So the question that's coming in right now, thanks for that. What is the fuel used in the burner? So it's essentially chafing fuel with our own design to it at the top. That way it has a more steady temperature. What we've done is we've inlaid a sponge basically underneath the cap, and that draws more liquid into it. And that gives us a more steady burn rather than, just a quick peak and then it drops off because it's burning all the fuel so fast. So great question. Thank you for that. So as this gets it, as we load this in, we're just going to push that all the way in. I like to keep it out. If you don't want to lose it, you can just tuck it away just right there. Just keep that out just a hair and you're good to go. So this is our mess kit. We also sell this super condensed pot and pan. It has everything you need, a scrubby brush. It collapses down nice and condensed, so it's perfect for backpacking and adventures. We're going to throw that on there, start to let that get hot. We've got some tap water. We're just going to start boiling. And this is about 2 cups. Let's see. 1 cup. Oh, good. Right amount. So we're going to be cooking our Beyond Meal Tuscan sausage pasta. Takes just a cup to boil. One of the biggest questions and repeated questions we see is the fact that it won't boil water, and it will. It really will. There's going to be a couple factors. One of the biggest is what's the outside temperature. If it's colder outside, 14 degrees, it took me a long time to boil water. The trick to all of it is a lid. So if you just stick a lid on there, you're going to find you can actually boil this thing probably within about 2 minutes or less. And you can hear that already start to groan because it's getting hotter and hotter. And that's the nice thing about this. So you can cook with one, you can cook with all 3. I usually, when I'm cooking with the stove portion, only use the portions 1 and 2, or the spots for 1 and 2 cans. And I usually don't use the third. We've got the third already lit, so I'll just leave that lit. But I'll just light the first 2, set the pot on, and it's going to start boiling here in just about a minute. Best and worst types of cookware to use. That's a great question. The thicker the pot, obviously that's going to take a little bit longer to heat up. So if you have those big cast irons, yes, it will fit. And this is super stable and sturdy. Like you can see me, I mean, the sides aren't even hot quite yet because the heat's rising, but it's sturdy enough to hold your cast iron pot and pan. I'd recommend just your everyday cup of noodles pot or top ramen pot or even our mess kit, whatever you use at home, or if you're on the go, these are my favorite. Yes, great input, Mike. Yes, it does depend on elevation. That does play a factor into how quickly things boil. So here in Utah, we are pretty high, so things usually take a little longer. Great question. Thanks, Michelle. As far as chafing fuel goes, if you don't have our canned heat, you can use the other. Just keep in mind, this was designed to burn at a much steadier temperature. So rather than, again, that peak hot and then dies down, you're going to see a much steadier, hotter temperature than your normal chafing fuel over at Sam's Club and all that. One thing to also make sure you're very aware of is anything that's on fire, of course, releases carbon monoxide. So be aware of that. In all my experience, it's fine if you're just in a 200 square foot room. We do not recommend using this in a tent because it's so confined. But all homes should have their own CO2 detector and just make sure you're being safe. But if you're even with your door closed, there's enough vents in your home in your 200 square foot room that you'll be just safe. You'll be safe. Can I use a normal teapot? Yes, that was the other thing we talked about. We thought about boiling water in the teapot. You can see there is enough room. We're not going to use this one because it's not for the fire, but you could put our actual teapot on there that we use oftentimes for coffee and so forth. Great question, Jackie. Thank you. So I don't know if you can hear it, but it's starting to rumble. So we're just going to take a peek, and we're already getting bubbles. So we're already boiling. Pretty amazing. I'll let that get a little hotter. And you can see I didn't start a stopwatch, but it looks like it's about 2 to 3 minutes right there. And that was just tap water, just barely poured out. So, and inside here, we're 70 degrees. So keep in mind, when it's colder, probably a little longer. So Beyond Meals, one of my favorite all-time meals, especially for backpacking or fishing, lightweight, easy freeze-dried. These were designed and built right here in Salt Lake City, and they are just a load of fun to eat. So you'll notice all those chunks in there. I like to break those up just a little bit. Should probably show the camera. There we go. You can see a lot of big chunks in there. I break that up and then just pull out the oxygen absorber, toss that aside, and we've got a lot of bubbles there. So we are boiling hot. So we're gonna grab that, nice and secure, and just pour this bad boy into the Beyond Meal. And this is what you'd expect to eat during an emergency, something like this. In the sense of our ready hour meals, so like our 1 week kit or 1 month kit, those you're gonna cook inside the pot, where Beyond Meals you're gonna cook inside the pouch. Could you cook with 1 or 2 cans and put one of those fans on the top of the wood stoves over the empty slot while you heat and cool? Yes, you could. That would be tricky. You'd have to have your own tag because this is long enough that it'll tip off. So you won't use ours, but I guess you could if you had your own. That's a fair question. I always just consider this is the canned heat. It's burning. It's already heating up the room. This just helps spread it as well as the fans, or not the fans, the grate in there helps absorb the heat. And so it just is a little bit more effective. So great question. Oh, somebody ate the orange chicken tonight. It is wonderful, isn't it? That's one of my wife's favorite. So with it being so hot now, it is very hot to the touch. So this is where these are heat resistant on the side. So I'm gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna hook this right underneath the lip and pull that out. You only have to pull it out just a little bit because that is going to lock in right here at the front. You're gonna see 2 little holes right here. You've got 2 teeth here in the back of the Vesta. So obviously it's really hot right there. So be careful. That just slid right back in, and then you can take the butt of this, again, hold the sides. You've got 2 handles on either side right there. And you can, I don't know if I want to start a stopwatch, it's 6:51 right now. The fan hasn't turned on because it's got to collect that heat. And as we push this back, locks that in. You see that right there? That is what's going to hold it in place. This won't come up. So again, if you tip this over, you'd have to kick it pretty hard because again, it doesn't move. It's pretty solid. Oh, I forgot to remove that sticker. Let's grab that sticker before it melts. Shoot. There we go. So keep in mind there is a sticker on the tag. Pull that off before you get going. Should have showed that first. There we go. So we've started. The fan has not quite kicked on. One of the questions in our earlier questions was, do you have to use it outdoor on your first go? And the answer is no. This is ready to go. You open it from the box. We're ready. So I've got mine in my ice fishing sled right now. And so I'm ready to use that just as soon as the lakes freeze. Gwen, you got 2 Vestas, haven't used them yet, just tested them. If you wanted to pull them out right now and follow along, you're more than welcome to. They're pretty easy, pretty fun. So it's still heating that up. The Beyond Outdoor Meal, these take about 15 minutes. My favorite tip with these is if you sit them upright, all that water's in the bottom like that. If you lay them on their side, now it's equalized out and you're gonna have a much more consistent reconstitution of the products and the noodles and the sausage and everything. It's much better, much easier. So we 51, there's the fan. So the fan just kicked on. I don't know if the camera is strong enough to see that, but the fan is spinning now. So of course, don't stick your fingers in it. Make sure all the normal fire warnings, kids are clear, all that. But pretty simple. So right now you can feel the heat. So my hand, I'm just gonna keep going. And of course heat rises. So here you don't feel it, but right there, I'm still feeling heat. So it is blowing. The other questions a lot of people had was, what can I put it on? This is a wood table. I'm not worried. This isn't gonna catch fire. It's not gonna scorch the wood. You can set this on the carpeted floor. My favorite thing to do actually though, is to get a cookie sheet pan and just stick it on the cookie sheet pan, just in case you need to move it to a different room or do something. That's easier than trying to balance and hold these. My favorite is just hold the cookie sheet pan. It's a little more stable. So can see the, oh, perfect. You guys can see the fan blades. Perfect, yeah. But yeah, it's blowing pretty good. It's pretty consistent. I can still feel it. You can still feel the heat all the way out to here. So great. Wish you would have a class on the Ember oven stove. That's great. Thank you for that feedback. That's the type of stuff we're looking for. We are going to be pulling your guys' feedback after this and send out a survey on what we're going to be going over next. So stay tuned to that. When you use in your RV, you didn't need the main heat. That's amazing. Just again, make sure you have a little bit of ventilation in those confined chambers of an RV. But as far as it goes, yeah, that's exactly what it's designed for. Is, you know, RVs mostly about 200 square feet. And I've got a coworker here, Virginia. She actually uses this instead of her main heater as well. And it works really, really well. So I love this thing. You can hear it. It's whisper quiet. One of the questions is, can you use this when you sleep? And yes, but you got to be careful because it's an open flame, right? And so make sure nothing is around it. It's going to catch on fire. Just have all your fire awareness, of course. So you're going to have if you can, have that cookie sheet underneath it, and just make sure nobody's going to knock that over. And then make sure you have a CO2 detector. I always bring those when I go ice fishing and using that. So we are going to be putting polls in the live chat, so you can vote on that. You can vote on the Ember oven to see on the next video. You can use or see the Grid Doctor 3300. That's our new portable generator. The Ember oven is the indoor-outdoor oven. It also uses the canned heat and all this. Or you can see our Alexa Pure Pro, and that's our water filtration system that you could literally pull water right out of the ditch or the toilet and drink it. It's pretty awesome. So if you haven't, go in our live chat to vote now, and we'll take your opinion. So then next time we can demo this. So we're sitting about 10 minutes. I like to usually wait 15 for these. I know the pouches usually say about 10 to 15. So we're right around that time. But just to show you what this looks like, and it is delicious. So the other thing that I do recommend, and I see, I don't know how to pronounce that, Sony. Yes, the fire blanket. That's a good point. I did bring mine. We always have these handy just in case. And this is something you can just quickly throw over in case of emergency. So thank you, Jackie. I'm glad you love all of our products. When I initially started for this company, I made sure I could sell it, and I lived on the 1 week kit. And my sister-in-law came over, and she drank all the orange drink mix, and I was mad at her because it was that good. And she's like, "Oh, this is amazing!" I'm like, that was part of my 1 week kit, so it is really good. So, thank you so much, David. I appreciate that. So, any other questions before we start wrapping up? Pretty quick, easy demonstration. What's the difference between the Vesta and the Ember? So the Vesta, great question. The Vesta is a space heater and a stove. So you're going to be able to do things like you would on your stove at home, right? And you're going to be able to boil water, mac and cheese, all your basic stovetop stuff. Your Ember oven, that one you're going to be able to bake bread, muffins, all of those types of things, biscuits. So like when it comes to our pancake mix, you could actually use our pancake mix for both the Vesta or the Ember oven. You could cook either biscuits in the oven, or you could bring a flat, almost skillet type thing, put that right on top of the stove portion, and then you can, cook your flapjacks. Great question. With the Ember, though, that one is an indoor-outdoor, so you can use biomass. The whole bottom in here is metal, so you could put biomass, but then it defeats the purpose because you're outside and it's not really a heater. So it would work. Then you just empty out the ashes. Your blueberry muffin mix is, yes, thank you, Michelle. It is amazing. I love that stuff. I enjoy that one a lot. That was the first thing I cooked in our Ember oven. Can you use it during warm weather, even though it's for winter? Oh, absolutely, Victoria. I'm pretty sure I'm reading that right. Victoria, yes. So as far as, use that whenever you want. So a couple math numbers to run in your head is how long do you want it to run, right? So each set of 3 will run for 6 hours. If you're running just one to cook some food, of course, that one will run for 6 hours. But if you're running this 24/7, a full 8-pack, which is all of these, right, just to demo that, that's going to last you for 48 hours. If you're running that nonstop, night and day, when it runs out, you replace them. So I just sold a gentleman. We keep all your guys' info confidential, but I just sold a gentleman 21 cases of this, so that way he could run it for, and he already had a case or two, so that way he could run it for 3 months for 12 hours, right? So that just gives you something to keep in mind. 21 cases of these, that's 12 hours a day for a 3-month supply. How long does it take to cool down? Just like any other fire. In fact, probably a little quicker when it comes to cool down, because all it is are little canned heats, right? So let's demo how to snuff this out now that we're running it. And I realized I never took a bite. I'll take a bite in a second. So again, this is an easy spot for it. Just slides in, pull that out, hook this lip right here, and then pull. Okay, you can see that flame right there. Pull that out. And the fan is actually still running. That's because the bottom's still hot. And you're just going to hold that for about 2 seconds and push that there. And we're done. They're all done. I don't screw these on until these are completely cool. I don't touch them, of course, but you can feel that they're still hot. When they cool down, I'll just put the caps back on and you can light them again. So these are reusable. As far as how much heat they give off, I don't have the actual BTUs and all of that. That will be on our website. I'll just point you in that direction and just tell you to go look there on our canned heat. They actually took a heat gun and pointed it at certain spots, and so you can see the heat level and how much heat it is giving off. Let's see. When will you develop more gluten-free and dairy-free options? Great question. So we that's more into our food category. And I do actually invite any, because there were quite a few questions like this. I'll answer that one, but there was a lot of questions of, hey, I've got a family of 4. Hey, I got a family of 3. How long what do I need for 3 months? Those types of things. We actually have an entire phone team dedicated to make you guys custom plans. We will sit down, we'll talk about your allergies, we'll talk about how big your family is, and we'll just say, hey, this is what you're going to need, and we'll plan according to your budget. So we're not going to break the bank either. And we've even got payment plans in-house that's not going to charge you interest or credit checks. So as far as the gluten-free and dairy-free, the gluten-free one, we just updated that one. That's a new bucket. That's starting to become more popular. As far as dairy-free, whispers have it, it's in the works, but that is just rumors. So I don't know about the dairy-free one for sure. Do you have a refill bottle in bulk so we don't have to use the garbage so much? Yes, as far as a refill bottle, we do use, that's our G2O bottle. Another great question. And if you call in and ask our team, let me give you guys the phone number. It's 866-229-0927. That's just our main line. Call in and you'll find that. Oh, are these reusable canned heat? Thank you. Sorry. Someone just pointed that out. No, these aren't reusable. You'll see here on the top, and you can see I'm already touching these, so they are cooling down pretty fast. Yeah, so I put the cap on now. So what was that, 2 minutes, 3 minutes? But no, these aren't refillable because you'd have to pull the wick out and then fill it back up. And then it's a nightmare to get the wick back in because they're basically pinched and tilted. And so you just recycle these when you're done. Virginia is amazing. I'm glad she's helped you a bunch. That's the style, and we'll work with you personally. We'll give you our direct lines. We'll chat with you. We'll help you guys out personally. I'm glad. Thank you. Just a demo. This food is remarkable. We eat this all the time. There it is, right there. So you can see your sausage. You can see some tomato pieces. There's a little bigger piece of tomato right there, and pepper. One of my favorites all time. I'll eat that later. I missed dinner so far. Okay, great. Before we wrap up, any last minute questions we got in the chat? No. Okay. No, let's see. Someone else asked, if no canned heat, what else can be used? That's the tricky part. And that's kind of what Texas ran into in 2021 is they didn't have really anything they could use indoors. And as this is safe indoors, just a little bit of ventilation, you'll be just fine. But that is the tricky part. You could cook outside as long as you have something to cook with. Our InstaFire is amazing. You can't blow these out. Our pocket plasma lighters and our cross plasma lighters, so they're amazing to start fires. But that's why I tell people stock up on the canned heat. Get lots of the canned heat so that way you can stay warm. And your whole family will probably be sleeping in that same room. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate that. Thank you. Grid Doctor next, please. Yes, that's been a big request so far. So if you haven't voted, please vote. And we will see you next time. Thank you. Appreciate it, Victoria. We love doing it. I've been doing this coming up on 8 years now. So talked to thousands of y'all, and it's been a joy. That's why I'm still here is because of you guys. So thank you. Take care.